I'm Luke Evans, the founder and creative director of YouNeek Productions. This has been a company that I started 8.5 years ago, I think it is now, so end of 2013. So it's been a slow build getting to this point, but the kind of like whole journey has been a personal journey as well as a professional one. The personal journey was in 2011 I had a little boy, and at that I was 21 then, so I just finished university, not much older than you now, and then I'd done media production at university as well, so I'd always had that kind of like in me, and I had some really good opportunities at university that I didn't really want to let go. If I didn't have my boy, I would have moved to London and like done that thing of trying to find media work down there, but didn't. Had him, I got a job in digital marketing just because needed a job, £15,000 a year with a kid in a rented house, which was, I don't know how I survived, but that was a good learning curve to learn things about digital marketing that I didn't think I needed to know. And then I guess you fast forward that, worked in corporate world for, well, what would have been 8.5 years in total, and then now just gone full time this week in YouNeek Productions. So it feels quite momentous, but the professional journey has been as much personal journey as well, because my boy's now 10, he's a little bit more independent, and I've got another baby on the way, so it's kind of like a full circle moment. I think I listened to a podcast as well with Wretch32, and he spoke about he had his kid and he felt reborn for what his passion was, and I really related to it. It was now that I've got another baby on the way, this company is the new beginning almost, whereas Calum was the beginning at that point. So yeah, it's come full circle.
I'm Richard Bradley. I'm one of the partners at YouNeek Productions. I'm one of the co-creative directors. Luke and I have been in a partnership now with the company for just coming up for 5 years. Prior to that, and still currently, I'm a freelance producer director, so I do a number of projects across genre, so film and television, although I have in recent years specialised in live action for young people's programming. So I've done quite a lot of work for CBeebies and CITV, Milkshake and Nickelodeon and companies like that. So originally I trained as a sound recordist, so when I left school many moons ago, I originally got a job with ATV as it was known then. ATV became Central and then it became Carlton. But I got a job when I left school and trained as a sound technician on a show called The Muppet Show, which was a bit of a treat because at that time I kind of flunked my A-levels. And The Muppets was quite a big cult show for sixth formers, particularly at the school I was at. So therefore, to kind of fail your A-levels and then land a job working on The Muppet Show, mucking around with loudspeakers and microphones and playback was a huge stroke of luck. You know, I'm a great believer in, you've got to seize opportunities, but also make yourself a bit of luck. I'd always been involved in kind of theatre, sound, played in a few bands. I'm a musician and a songwriter, and it was just great. I mean, for me to be able to work and do what I love doing, I think was just key to my commitment sort of moving forward. I'm
really, really lucky to have someone like Richard just turn up at almost like the knock of a door. And when he came, I just started doing a year retainer with a client, which I was buzzing about. I thought, great, this is the real kickstart. And he came in and really, I think it's twice my age, so that's not discounting him. He doesn't look it. I think I'm greater than him, but he brings that difference in time experience from TV, film, and then he doesn't mention it that much, but we have a synergy between us where in meetings he'll be talking about himself and he'll never mention his awards, and then I always bring it up. I'm like, Richard, you're far too humble, and he won one this year for something he did last year, a BAFTA award. And he's won a few more for other shows that he's done, directed, produced. But you don't tell that from when you work with him. So what he's brought is obviously all that experience that he's had with winning those awards and the productions he's done. And these are things like Teletubbies, Grandpa in My Pocket. He's worked with people who do Line of Duty and like massive shows. The one he's just won is a program called How. A lot of that is kids TV, but he'll open his little black book and he's got, as we were talking today, is like Oscar award winning animators. So he brings that, but then he also, for me, brings like a bit of a security blanket. Sometimes when you do this type of thing by yourself, you don't really have anyone to just bounce an idea off or bounce a little worry or concern you have. And he has a bit more of a direct approach in terms of hold your value, don't let people take the piss. And that's been quite nice to have. So this was in 2018 he joined. And then we had a couple of years really where we were doing good stuff, but just when he joined, we didn't just skyrocket. It was us finding each other's kind of feet and helping each other out, but then it was the pandemic that actually accelerated us.
YouNeek Productions literally leapt off the page. It was literally the brand. I hadn't got a clue who owned it, what they were up to, or what they were doing, but it just looked such a great brand, and I just thought, you know, I think I'll get in touch, see what they're up to. I could see that through their website they'd done some social media content, some small end, low end commercials, and I've got to be brutally honest. Whilst I think they had potential, I didn't think they were that strong, and I thought they could be so much better. But that sounds like I'm being arrogant, which I'm not. I was just observing. But I just thought, yeah, there's something there. I like whoever's doing this. They've got a quirky style. It's a bit different. The name's a bit different. I think it's worth getting in touch and having a conversation. So it just seemed to be the obvious thing to become partners in the business and really push the ambitions of the company moving forward. You know, I think the grammar and kind of the rules are kind of there to be broken, but the grammar of creating content is pretty much the same if you're doing film or television or videos or videography. You know, that it's interesting, the same skill set does apply across all of those genres, and we soon found out that, you know, we began to have an instinctive feel for, you know, want to think something, and we started to think in the same way, which is unusual for creative minds, but a joy when it happens.
What I like doing in school, so football, like that would have been number one goal obviously for most lads, but I used to write quite a lot, so lyrics, short little bits and pieces. I used to like writing a lot and used to do it in the school diary, and used to think I could write raps and stuff like that. But then when I went to university, I moved that into a short script, and then that's where all my opportunities then came from. So then that led to the kind of, not production, but the production company part of it. So it's the writing to then production, but because I learned that at university, how to produce a film or whatever, it then kind of like goes hand in hand. So now in the future, I'd like to be able to write originals or create them and then use other specialists in videography or editing. So I'm not doing everything, but the part I love is the start.
I worked on drama, live, I did all sorts of stuff, but I think very quickly I saw that maybe the role that I really wanted was to direct. A director friend of mine said, yeah, it's because you want to play with all the toys in the box, don't you? And it's kind of true in a way, but in many ways you can express yourself, you can do stuff. There's nothing better. That whole kind of creative buzz, I think, is really, really good. And what's important is you don't do it on your own. You've got to coordinate with a team of people and get the very best out of yourself, but get the best out of them too.
So since 2013, I've been doing this on the side, and it's grown in its own way. So having 2 jobs and a young kid has been, well, just normal really for me. But actually, if I stop and think about it, I'm like, has been really, really hard. And with that means I've had less time. So using my time to keep YouNeek Productions moving in the right direction, that's been the biggest challenge massively. And has probably, in some ways, has probably stemmed the growth that it could have had years ago. But in other ways, the slow build has actually probably really helped in other ways. So finding Richard and things like that, I could have been in a different place altogether, and he came in at a good time to support. But that's definitely been the biggest challenge. Other things, like, as you'll know, with like the money to buy the equipment, credit cards, paying that off, good, that's done. But then you still need to get more equipment, and then things like that. And then the pandemic, I wouldn't say, obviously people will say that's the biggest challenge, but it wasn't for us, because it then actually allowed me the time to fully focus on it. Not that we were earning money, but just thinking space for it all. Yeah,
I think you have to wear more than one hat. I think when you're on a large scale production, you can defer, you can delegate, and you have a number of departments, whether it's lighting, sound, cameras, art department, design, and each of those departments has an HOD. Each of them will have a head of department. So in terms of delegating, it actually makes your job easier. Whereas with a small production company, you all of a sudden have to wear all of those hats. And that challenge is to not try and be everything to everybody at the same time, but prioritize as you go along. So I think it's important. The planning is more important than ever before. I think health and safety when you're a small unit is also really, really important. But I think the ability to think on your feet and react to get the best out of a situation is important, but also to realize when it's probably not going that well and you need to change the game plan. And it's kind of easier with two creative directors. We function quite well like that. I think the challenges are definitely in that area when you're small scale, but really the issues you're dealing with are still really important.
Over the last 2 years, I've been doing freelance videography and photography, and over the last year, it's accelerated quicker than I ever could have imagined, really, working with different types of clients and most recently working with YouNeek Productions. I've learnt so much through Luke and Richard, and I can't really thank them enough for what they've done. And they gave me an opportunity when I didn't really have anyone else sort of production-wise taking that chance on me and getting to work all over the country, really. Most recently with Mitchell Deaver in Halifax, and the first big event that I did with YouNeek was the AA Awards at Genting Arena in Birmingham. That was a great insight into the production world and a real taster as this is what I wanted to do for a living. Obviously I'm still studying media at Birmingham City University, so it was a great opportunity for me to get an insight and see how the media industry works. I've had opportunities to use new cameras, microphones, and most recently drones. And with YouNeek, we've had drone operators on site, and that's something sort of almost inspired me to go and get one and start using one and expand my knowledge and skill. I don't ever sort of want to settle for my skill base now. I only want to get better and better. So they've helped me tremendously with improving my skill assets. I also think it's so important to follow your passion in life and never settle for anything less, really. So I spoke to Alice Stanek, who works for Illuminate Retail, and they help build businesses and reach their full potential. And this is something that she left her job for, to go and expand her business and following her passion.
I think YouNeek as a brand is such a strong brand that moving forwards, YouNeek Productions encapsulates social media content. It will cover commercials, it will cover shorts. We already have another string to our bow. We have YouNeek TV, which specifically deals with television projects, perhaps short films. And moving on, I'm sure that there will be extensions to the YouNeek brand, whether or not that's marketing, creative services. We intend to grow the brand, but each arm or each section of that brand, which spoke of the wheel, however you call it, will have to share the same ethos. So the ethos that and the mantra that Luke and I share, you would have to see in those other branches of the brand. You know, the way in which we approach Each of those would be similar, but they would be clearly defined in terms of the content they produce. But no, I think YouNeek will grow. It will grow and grow and grow, and hopefully the people we're working with and customers past, present and future, our clients, will buy into that strength of brand, you know, in terms of that strength of brand.
With the future for YouNeek Productions, there's one thing that I can share that I haven't reached yet, and I'd love this to happen. This is a small goal. When I was doing script writing and stuff with the BBC, it was there I realised we had to do a task where you went out into London and sit on a bus, sit at the park or wherever, and you would listen to other conversations, and you would put that one line from that conversation into a script, and then you'd build a page script around it. Love that. That was amazing. But then it made me realise that I would love to hear one line that I wrote that went on TV or somewhere, and I'd overhear somebody else say that on a bus or out wherever in a pub, but what they've quoted they didn't know was what I wrote. That's a goal that I would love. If I reach that, I'd like die happy. But in terms of like the actual business parts of it, yeah, I want to grow. Would like to get some stuff on Netflix and TV and stuff like that. That would be really, really good. But I don't really have an end goal at the moment. Financially, no, there isn't. Just keep growing and keep moving in the right direction where I'm comfortable in terms of what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, and enjoying it, and still have that right kind of like balance of football, school, kids, family, working in the areas that we want to work in, and all that kind of positive stuff.
A massive thank you to Luke and Richard for all their support with this documentary, and all the support that they've gave me with my freelance work and working with YouNeek Productions and getting that experience within the media industry. This now brings an end to my journey at university after 3 years, so I'm hoping this goes down well. And finally, a massive thank you for watching.